This is Coach Chick Austin, welcoming you to Austin Field, home of the Lakeside Rams since 1949. There's no better place to be on Friday night than a high school football game. It's Friday night. Let's go Rams.
Welcome to the 7th episode of our Coaches Show. Once again, we're going to kick it off this week with Coach McBride. Coach McBride, thanks for sitting down with us once again.
No problem.
So earlier this season, we talked about keys for this season, and one of them was 4 wins in conference play, trying to get into the playoffs. You know, how's the playoff outlook looking now after that 4th win in conference over Hope?
That's a very big win. You know, it kind of guarantees that you get to play in the tournament, and now we're looking forward to, playing some more. And this week's victory will get you a home playoff game. So there's always something to work for each week. But we're proud to get to 4, gets us in the playoffs, and now we're looking for an undefeated conference season and a conference championship.
So how do you feel after finally achieving that milestone?
It's exciting for our kids just to know the way we started the season and the way that the goals that we had and still have, and know that we get to play for a state championship and keep playing football.
Do you think this team's looking to make a longer run in the playoffs here this year?
I think so. I think we're getting better each week. We still got several tough football games left, but it'll be fun to watch them play in the playoffs.
So going back to this week against Hope, the mercy rule was put into effect there going into the second half. You know, with the mercy rule, as a fan, you know, fans don't get to see that very often. As a coach, how does that change, you know, the pace of the game?
I understand the rule, and it's there for the right reasons, but it shortens the game a lot in the second half, and that's a lot of time that you get some of your younger guys in the game and try to get more people on the field. And with the way that the clock was running, it didn't give us a lot of opportunity in the second half to play a lot of our younger guys, so it was a little disappointing there. But it was a good, solid performance in the first half by our guys just to get out in front and to kind of control the game.
Would you say that the shortened time benefited one team or the other?
You know, not really. It's just a deal where we kind of run out of time to play. You know, I wanted to see our young guys on the field in the second half, and the way it came out, I think we had three or four offensive snaps in the second half, and that wasn't enough.
And speaking of the second half, the defense gave up 23 unanswered points at one point in the game. Is there any point of concern in that?
Not really. You know, we were rotating a few kids along the way, but you got to give Hope credit. They fought all the way to the end and made a couple of plays, and I was proud of our kids for finishing the game.
Yeah. So what were your thoughts on Richard Gaston's game? I know we talked about him maybe stepping up big this season. You know, maybe was this his breakout game?
I think so. He's had 2 really good weeks. Looking for him to continue to grow and to produce, but proud of him for fighting and continuing to practice hard and getting some on the field production.
And what about Enrique Aon? You know, he had a big INT this week. What were your thoughts on his performance?
He's outsized most of the time, but he plays so hard and knows what to do and knows where to be. And got an interception early in the game. It kind of helped swing the momentum our way.
And with his size, you know, how does he react to that? How does he get around that?
You know, he just plays hard, has a high motor. Uses what he has, which is quickness, and just plays hard. So proud of him, and he's a good football player.
It's like they say, you know, it's not the size of the dog in the fight; it's the size of the fight in the dog.
That's exactly right, and he's a great example of that.
Yep. So up next on the schedule is the Queen, who, in the grand overview of the conference, they may get a little bit overlooked, but they have a gem and star running back Hunter Ernie.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's a very good football player. We've played him and seen him since the 7th grade, and he's caused us trouble before. They're a very good football team. They're physical. I told the kids this week the winner of this game is probably going to get a home playoff game. It kind of boils down to that. So it's a very important game for us. They'll be super excited. They'll be jacked, and it'll be a good environment. It doesn't matter historically what's going on there. They're playing really good physical football right now.
Are there plans on containing him this week?
I hope so. He's a good player for sure. plays every snap, plays on defense, offense, special teams, and they've got some other good football players, but he's the one you got to kind of key on.
So would you say there's anybody else maybe that helps him out?
Quarterback is a good football player, Carver. They've got big tight end, blocks well, plays well on the defensive line, 87. 44 is our fullback and middle linebacker. He's a very physical football player also. So between those four guys, they kind of carry the load.
What do you think is going to be the best position matchup for your team against DeQueen this week?
You know, it's going to be tough. Every yard is going to be tough to come by, just like Whitehall. But I think offensive line up front will take care of the line of scrimmage, and we'll be able to run the football.
Yeah, and speaking of that O-line, they had a big game again last week against Hope. You know, helping Dupree.
Mm-hmm.
Dupree was able to find some gaps. You know, how do you feel now at this point about their progression?
I'm excited about them. We've got 7 guys that are playing, rotating through there and producing. So even if we got injuries or things that keep somebody off the field, we've got guys that's got experience and are able to play.
Have there been any injuries as of late?
You know, we're always a little bit banged up and injured, and this week sick. It seems like everybody in the world's sick, but you know, we're fighting through that like everybody else, and we'll have a good group ready to play on Friday.
So are there any other notable factors in this week's matchup against the Queen?
You know, it's just going to be a good, solid physical football game. We've got to limit turnovers and get a few, and that'll help us a lot in our quest for victory.
Well, thanks, Coach, for sitting down with us,
Got it.
and good luck this week.
Yeah, thank you.
We'll be right back with this week's special guest player.
Do you talk to your family without really communicating? Our new Lennox Ultimate Comfort System communicates with each component of the system, which communicates with you at home or away, giving you the ultimate control and perfect air. Wouldn't it be nice if everything in your life worked that well together?
Call Grisham Air Care for perfect air in your home.
Grisham Air Care and Lennox, the ultimate home comfort team. Lennox, innovation never felt so good.
Welcome back to the Coaches Show, everyone. At this time, we have our special guest player of the week, Landon Muldoon. Landon, thanks for coming in.
Yeah.
So far in your time here at Lakeside, you've been a part of 2 conference championships, with a third on the horizon, possibly. You know, do you get that same sense of excitement over winning a conference championship as you did on that first one?
Oh yeah, I do. I mean, I guess it changes a little bit because, like, after you do something multiple times, you don't get the same effect as the first time. First time was super cool. Second time was pretty cool. And if we get a third time, that'll be even cooler because it's my senior year.
Yeah. Has it almost become a sort of expectation?
Coaches have been like, since you've done it for 2 years now, they expect you to be on top and they'll, like, come at you harder and stuff. So, I mean, kind of, I guess.
Yeah. So sometimes as a defensive player, you know, there's a little bit of perfectionism involved. Some players, you know, are very devastated when there's not a 0 up on the board for the other team.
Yeah.
Would you say you're one of those players?
No. I don't really, I mean, kind of, but I don't really care what the other score is as long as we're winning and stuff. So, not really.
Just maintain the lead?
Yeah, just get the win.
Yeah. So the defensive unit, speaking of that, has had some pretty big games lately. You know, what have you thought of your performance lately?
I've had some good games, some bad games. Been pretty average. Haven't done my best. Sometimes I'm doing pretty decent.
What do you think about the unit as a whole?
We've gotten a lot better since the beginning. Like the Robinson game, we had more like mistakes and stuff, and now we've came a long ways. We're doing pretty good. Pretty tough.
How's Coach Rock?
Coach Rock is just a beast. He knows everything. He has a super good game plan, and he just knows how to use everything.
Yeah. How would you better describe, you know, his coaching style?
He'll like try stuff and then figure out what works, and then just like add on more to that.
So maybe experimental a little bit at a time?
Yeah,
Oh, that's
for sure.
That's cool. So, from this defensive unit, let's say I'm on offense, who's coming at me the hardest? Who's the hardest hitter on this Lakeside defense?
The hardest hitter on the defense. Probably Michael James. He hits freaking hard. I would not want to be over there.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, he shows off that strength too at the back position.
Likes to run a lot of people over.
So on offense, would you want to face him either? Would you want to be pitted up against him as a defender when he's on offense?
I mean, I would not prefer to do that, but if it has to, I mean, I guess it has to be.
So on the defensive side of things, heading into this next matchup against the Queen, there's been a name that's come up, Hunter Ernie. Have you heard a lot about him, number 2?
A little bit. We've been watching some film and stuff and been looking at his stats. Dude's pretty salty.
Has there been a game plan that's been formulating a little bit on covering him?
Can't really tell you about that, but we put in some new plays and stuff.
And so last week, we're going to go back to last week. Your brother Carson was actually on the show.
I saw.
Yeah. And he said that if it was late in the game, he had the ball, and you were the only one standing in his way, he was going to find a way to get around you. Do you agree with that?
No, not at all. I'm picking about putting on his head.
Yeah.
He ain't getting by me.
Yeah. How do you plan on taking him down?
I don't plan on taking him down. He comes at me. I'm going to get him. Straight to the ground.
Would you say it's easier or harder having a twin as a teammate?
I feel like it's no different because we're all kind of just a family, so we're like all together.
So would you say your brother has motivated you, pushed you to be better?
A little bit. Like when we're out there like side by side, we just mess with each other and like try to hype each other up a little bit. It's a pretty cool deal.
Yeah. Is there a little bit of sibling rivalry at times?
Like we both play defense for a little bit and like together, we always like try to get more tackles or you can do the best.
So let's say it's a matchup of Madden, you versus Carson. Who's winning that one?
I'd definitely take a dub with some Madden.
So what would you say has been your favorite moment on the field at Lakeside?
Ooh, favorite moment. I don't really have a favorite moment. I just like getting wins.
All about those wins?
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you have like maybe one win in particular that really stands out?
Hot Springs.
Well, that's going to wrap up the interview segment, but before you go, Landon, we're going to have you sign our Ball of Fame.
Oh, yeah.
You can go ahead and join your brother from last week.
I'm going to sign right next to him.
All right. Well, thank you for joining us this week. That's going to wrap up our show for this week. Go ahead and support the Rams. Come out this week to see the Rams take on the Queen. It's a game on the road. And next week, they'll be taking on Watson Chapel. Try to make it if you can, but if you can't, it'll be live right here on Lakeside TV starting at 7 p.m. For now, this is Chase Hartsell signing off. Have a great week and go Rams.
Take the snap. He's going to try to take it up the middle here, and it's off to the races. Touchdown, Lakeside.
Before you can find your potential, you first have to find your path. At National Park College, our mission is to help you do both, with a university experience that's close to home. With career-focused education, help with job placement and a variety of programs to choose from, and a cost that's less than half of four-year universities, National Park College can put you on the path to a better education. Visit np.edu today and find your path.